the whole mass of the people. They are the only sure reliance for the preservation of our liberty. Now, this is why so many people want us to trust that the military is going to come save us. So many people tell us to wait on some powerful man or woman or some politician. Because okay, I'm not helpful at all. So why are you here? Should I block you real quick? No, I'm not very nice when it comes to people playing with our future. So I'm not going to be nice with you interrupting and just acting silly. So notice, educate and inform the whole mass of the people. They are the only sure reliance for the preservation of our liberty. Thomas Jefferson. So guys, we can see Thomas Jefferson said that if we teach the people, that is what is necessary to preserve our liberty. Right now, you can see that we are lacking liberty. That's right. We're going to send notice. I don't know about a constitutional attorney. We, the people, created the whole Constitution, and we didn't all have to have attorneys. So that's probably not going to happen. But anyway, so what we're going to do, guys, we're going to give it a few seconds. Josh, if you wish to take over, you can. We're going to give it a few minutes, and then what we're going to do is actually turn on the computer. We will have a group created in Telegram. And what we will do is, and we can also share it in the group that the 50,000 member group in New Jersey. We are going to create a notice for our servants, and we are going to deal with the things that we need to have dealt with. So for instance, CRT, attacking the parents in schools, 2020, November 3rd, your recent issue with voting, the mandates, so-called like show me your paper stuff, get a needle in your arm, or you can't do this or that. We are going to do a notice that will deal with all of it. And we are going to put them on notice of the maladministration they have done. So we're going to actually create a notice live. If you guys are down for it, let me know if you want to do it. We are going to create a notice live right here in front of your face. We will get them in the group. We will also, as I said, get them on Telegram. We can create a Telegram group. I'll get that information to Ayla and Christina in order to make sure that New Jersey can be taken care of. We will do the notice now within the next few minutes that will allow you guys to be able to take back over. You're going to give government notice of what they're doing wrong. You're going to show clearly with the Constitution and the law that they already swore to. And we're going to demand that they respond to us and let us know if what we're saying is true, or if they have constitutional provisions that say they can do what they want to do. So let me know if you guys are down for this. I'm going to give it a few minutes. Josh, you want to take over?
Sure. Gotcha. So this notice, guys, is something that we've used nationwide, like David is referring to, to have mask mandates removed from schools to we worked with Neil Johnson up in Minnesota to have a mask mandate removed. We've used them. We're currently using them to fight vaccine mandates for people that are employed by fascists that are trying to force them to, get the jab. So we're using these. It's a teaching tool as well. When we send these notices out to the state legislators, to other people that are in office. So all the elected servants, we're teaching them, we're telling them, a lot of them don't know. The ones that actually give a dang will read it. What it does, it'll start conversation. There'll finally be interaction amongst the people and the legislator in regards to the people's rights. A good example of this is what we did in Michigan. It's still an ongoing fight, but with Matt DePerno. I think David wrote the affidavit for a forensic audit in Michigan, like in December. We got Matt to put it out there. Bill Bailey, Matt DePerno, they dropped 10,000 affidavits, like notarized affidavits off. And you know what it did do, there was not one senator, not one senator was talking to Matt. Not one senator. But when those affidavits went out, within 2 weeks, 4 senators came out and were talking to Matt and started dialogue, started a conversation. And that's how it starts, you know, and like you said, fraud vitiates anything and everything. We try to push things as quickly as possible, but sometimes the process is slow. But we don't give up, and that's the thing. We're not going to give up. We're going to see it all the way through, because as Christina alluded to earlier, unless we correct 2020, unless now we correct 2021 governor race and have a forensic audit and have things looked at, nothing's ever going to change, and you're going to keep electing the same people that this deep state swamp wants in office so they can control and be their puppet. And, you know, the thing is, like I said, I blamed us. I blamed the people for not stepping up to what the Constitution says for us to do and to teach and the fundamental principles on a regular basis. But now those days are over, and we are teaching as many as possible now, and we are going to teach as many legislators as possible. And that's our goal, because when we do that, we'll start winning. And winning more. We're winning a little bit already, but we're winning more often. And it's truly about education. But you're going to see that when we drop, you know, if we put this in a jot form, which I think we're planning on doing, and we drop, you know, 25, 30, 40, 50,000 notices in New Jersey,
yep,
that's going to wake people up. You're going to start getting conversations. Believe me, there's going to be conversations had with those legislators. And you're going to be surprised at what happens. And the same process that happened here, as we kind of David was talking about earlier, that happened here in Maricopa County in relation to the forensic audit, will happen there as well. It'll be quiet for a little bit, then you'll start having conversations. Then you're going to have the president of the Senate reaching out and talking with Christina and getting information about what the people's constitutional rights are. Because the attorneys, I guarantee you, the Senate attorneys, I don't care if it's a Democrat or not, or in the House, are lying and not telling the whole truth to these legislators about what the people's rights are, what they're allowed to do, and the power that they have, that they have as legislators in regards to having an audit, in regards to decertification. So that's what we're going to teach them. We're going to teach them why they're allowed to do a forensic audit and why the people are guaranteed the right to have it done. So, Christina, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, no, I think that you said it absolutely perfectly, because that's really where we're at here in New Jersey. Everyone wants to know, what are we doing? So, where we are now, we process served the 108,000 notarized affidavits to the 20 respondents that were listed on the first and then the third and the fourth page of the affidavits that everybody notarized. We reproduced them and then sent 3 huge, massive boxes through a professional court process server, and to make sure that we had a sworn signed affidavit from a court process server that each of the respondents received it. So the second that they received it, the clock started. They had 72 hours to respond to us. And then upon the 72 hours, just like we knew that they would, they ignored us. So after they ignored us, the 72 hours, the next day, every 24 hours after that, the clock started. So in the affidavit that I wrote, if you look at it, and if you're a part of the amazing New Jersey Patriots that signed it, you'll see that in it has a penalty of $30,000 every day that they ignore after 72 hours. But it's not just the 72 hour. It's not just $30,000. It's $30,000 times every affidavit that they got served with, times every day that they ignore us, times every respondent that we served. So we're looking at like $42 million a day in penalties for every day after the 72-hour window that they ignore us. So it's been a couple of weeks since we served them. it's okay, because that clock don't stop until they answer, acknowledging that they're going to do the affidavits, or sorry, that they're going to do the audit, the forensic audit in the manner by which we spelled out in the affidavit, or we go to mediation and they're able to come up with something. But in all of the other states, they were never able to come up with anything. So what's typically happened in the other states is they go to mediation court, and the respondents, they don't show up because they don't think we're serious. They think that they're so above us that they don't even have to bother to respond to us, because we're common scum, we're nobody. We just pay all the bills. We just foot all the bills for everybody, but we're nobody. We're beneath them. They don't even feel that they need to even respond to us. So then we go to mediation, and then what happens is, if there's two people supposed to be in mediation, the mediator only hears from whoever shows up. So we show them all the evidence. We show them the constitutional jurisdiction that we have the rights to do and say what we did. And then we, and then the mediator says, okay, well, I can't hear the other side. So obviously there can't be a two-sided fight. So automatically everything that you're seeking, you automatically get. So you automatically get the audit, and you automatically get all the monetary damages, and the monetary damage clock doesn't stop. So then what happens is, they take the results of the mediation and they certify it, and they send it to all the people, the two parties that were supposed to be in mediation court, our team and each one of the 20 of them. So when they get that little bill in the mail certified from mediation court that says they owe hundreds of millions of dollars, and by the way, the clock hasn't stopped, then that's when they're like, oh shit, hello, what do we, lawyers, these people are serious. We just got a mediation that just like, literally, they're going to come take my house. Like, it's a situation. That's when they start answering, right? So it's kind of like, we're not really looking for the money or anything like that. We're looking to get the audit. It's the money, the monetary damage that causes them to take us seriously, right?
What kind of car does he drive? Anybody know?
Yeah.
He got a Bentley? He got a Bentley Continental?
Yeah. And in this country, when you get a judgment against someone, you can have the U.S. Marshals go facilitate that. So they do an investigation to, or like, what do they call, an investigator. An investigator goes and investigates these people, and they find out where their assets are, their homes, their cars, and all this stuff. And then the marshals go and seize it, and they sell it at auction, and they give it back, give all the money, the proceeds, to the person that has the thing against you. So that's exactly what we're looking to do here. But it never really has to ever get that far, because all we want is the audit. We're not looking to take your car or any of that stupid stuff. We just want you to take us seriously. And, because they've gotten so damn cocky, the only way to make them take us seriously is to shove their nose in the Constitution, give them a little lesson, and then and threaten them monetarily. We try to do it nicely. In the affidavit, the cover letter that I sent with the 108,000 pages of notarized affidavits, I sent a cover letter, and in the cover letter, the first paragraph in it, it said, first and foremost, I want to thank you and your family for the decision to become a servant for the community. It had to have not been an easy decision that you had to make. It's a lot of soul searching and whatnot, and it takes a lot away from your family and whatnot. So first and foremost, I want to thank you for making the decision to serve this community. And that I sent that out to all 20 respondents, whether I have different political views for them or not. I just wanted them to know, first and foremost, I'm coming to you as a member of this community who knows her constitutional rights, and we're constitutionally asking you to please facilitate a forensic audit for us. We want to get to the bottom of what the situation is with our election process. If there is no irregularities, that's amazing. That's beautiful. That's wonderful. That's what we would love to hear. But if there are irregularities, we want to put safeguards in place so that they don't happen in the next upcoming future elections, right? So I start out being very nice, but then towards the end of the letter, it's like, okay, so then if you do decide to ignore us, this is the steps up to and including that we are looking to and we will facilitate, and we have these rights to do it by way of the Constitution. So it's very clean cut, very clear. Everything is very understood. So every step along the way, every bit of the process that we do, the next steps that we do, they've already been forewarned in the initial affidavit that we sent. We're not hiding anything. We're not being sinister about anything. We're very nicely asking them. And then if they don't facilitate, then we go after them in a monetary damage way until they finally listen to us.
And I just want to say that what Christina is saying is not pie in the sky. This actually happened in New Jersey with one of our first PMAs that David and Josh helped Tommy Travolis do. Yes. He had promised that there were about 3,000 businesses that were saying they were going to open June 1st, 2020, and regardless of the governor's mandate. And Tommy was the only one that did it because he actually formed a PMA, took himself out of the public into the private, and Murphy and Judy came knocking on his door saying, no, how dare you? You cannot open. The governor has said all businesses need to be shut. Your gym is unlawful. And they tried to shut him down. And because he was a PMA, he did exactly what Christina just said. He said, you know what? No, I'm going to serve you. How dare you go against my constitutional rights? My PMA is protected like the freedom of religion, like the First Amendment with freedom of speech. It is protected in our new Constitution. And he brought them to court. He actually brought them to mediation, and Murphy did not show, and Tommy won his judgment. So I know that Josh and David were behind Tommy in every step of the way of winning that, but he won against Murphy and Judy Prosticelli in our state. They did not shut him down. He didn't shut down for a day.
Now, let me say this too.
$1.5 million judgment against them.
That's right.
This is what's deep. You win in arbitration or mediation. But on top of that, this is what these people don't realize. We realize now that they have been hiding the grand jury from the people as well. So on top of financial punishment, if you remember in the beginning of the whole common law, going back, the Bible is really the beginning, but going back to 1215, you have the Magna Carta that brought the grand jury forward. And the reason they had to bring the grand jury forward is because people have done wrong against the people, and there was no way to get remedy. So what happened was they had 25 people who were supposed to be like the common people. And all you had to do was let 4 of the grand jury members know that the government's harmed you and your property or the such. And they would have a certain number of days, I believe it was 40 days to address the issue and redress the grievance like we see in the constitutions today. But they have hid the grand jury part, even though the constitutions talk about the grand juries. So what happens is the grand jury would give like 40 days. And then if they didn't pay attention to what was going on, I believe the person can go back to the grand jury. And then after that, if they didn't repair it immediately, you could actually go meet up with everybody else in the community, go to the person's house who harmed you, and just take their stuff. You just couldn't take their wife, their kids, or anything like that. But you could take their stuff. So that's what the grand jury was for. Now, you'll notice in a lot of the state constitutions, it talks about, and let me say this too, because you got to be careful with the grand jury talk. We don't want to create grand juries where we say, oh, we just going to get 25 people and we're going to be a grand jury, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to say it's crazy. It's not smart right now when you have uneducated people. So what has to happen is we all are going to demand that the government officials give us access to the grand jury that's there right now that they're using to prosecute all the people. Now, once the government knows that you have been coming after them financially, they know that they've been trying to ignore, but you're calling in the grand juries now, or you're asking for it. The very fact that the people are aware of the grand jury is going to drive them crazy, because they're like, how in the world did you know that there was an entity that's supposed to come after us if we do wrong? There's one state constitution, and I can't remember it off the top of my head. Usually I don't. I don't forget this stuff, but my sugar is low. But the one state says that up to 5 years after a government official leaves office, he could be brought back in for something he didn't do, which was his duty when he was in public office.